Okay, so continuing your exam review, this is numbers 20 through 26. The surface area of Earth is 5.101 times 10 to the 8th square kilometers. Which of the following is equivalent to this measure? So 5.101 times 10 to the 8th is scientific notation. You should remember that 10 to the 8th means I'm multiplying this number by 10 8 times. So instead of actually multiplying it by 10 8 times, we know that when we multiply by 10, it moves my decimal point 1 time to the right. So I'm actually going to take 5.101 and move my decimal 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To check to make sure we have moved it the 8 times, I put a box around the numbers that I moved the decimal point in front of. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know I'd moved it correctly, then I'm going to rewrite it and place my commas where they belong, and then find my answer. So this is 510,100,000, which matches D. Number 21, Mercury is an average distance of 36 million miles away from the sun, while Pluto is an average distance of 3,600,000,000 miles away from the sun. What is the distance between Pluto and the sun, expressed in scientific notation? Okay, so it asks for Pluto and the sun, so really this information about Mercury is extra. And I am looking just at this number, trying to write it in scientific notation. So to write in scientific notation, I'm going to place my decimal point between those first two whole numbers to make my number greater than 1 but less than 10, so 3.6. And then I'm going to ask how many times would I need to move my decimal point. So I'm going to put a box around where my decimal point was placed in the very end and count how many are in it. That will signify how many times I would need to move my decimal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So times 10 to the 9th. Okay, number 22. Which statement best represents the table to the right? The table is proportional because it passes through the origin. That's true, it does pass through the origin. The table is proportional because it has a constant of proportionality of 8. Well, let's see. It multiplies by 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times 8 is 32. 6 times 8 is 48. And 8 times 8 is 64. That's true. The table is proportional because there is a constant y over x ratio. Well, 16 over 2, y over x equals 8. 32 over 4 also equals 8. And if I continue, 48 over 6 equals 8. And 64 over 8 equals 8. So that's also true, meaning all of the above. Which of the following scenarios describes a proportional relationship? Katie's 2 dogs eat a total of 2.5 pounds of dog food per week. Well, that gives me a constant of proportionality. If I think about if I wanted to know how many he'd eaten at 10 weeks, I could just do 2.5 times 10, meaning I'm only multiplying. I also could ask, well, at 0 weeks, how much has her dog eaten? Well, 0 food. So this is my proportional relationship. But let's look at the other. Stephen has sold 5 packages of popcorn for a school fundraiser and plans to sell 2 more every day. So if I were to graph this situation, how much has he sold at 0 days? Well, at 0 days, he's sold 5 packages. So if I start my graph, it's going to start at 0, 5. That's not my origin. Daniel has watched 13 episodes of his favorite anime show and needs to watch 3 episodes per day. Okay, so Daniel has watched 13 episodes of his anime show and needs to watch 3 episodes per day in order to finish the entire series. So if I think about this again, at the beginning, at the start, if I were to graph this, he's already watched 13, so I'd start my graph at 0, 13. Well, that's not the origin either. Okay, and D, the temperature is currently 75 degrees and is supposed to decrease by 3 degrees every hour. Well, once again, I'm starting at 75. So not at 0, 0, but at 0, 75. So D can't be my answer either. Number 24, which graph represents a proportional relationship? Well, we have learned that if it passes through the origin and is a straight, it's a proportional relationship. So F, H can't be it. It's not passing through the origin. G can't be it. It's not passing through the origin. And J can't be it. It's not passing through the origin. Number 25, Lance the alien is 5 feet tall. His shadow is 8 feet long. At the same time of day, a tree shadow is 32 feet long. If the two triangles formed by the shadows are similar, which proportion could be used to solve for the height of the tree? Okay, so our minds might immediately go to that 8 times 4 is 32. And that 5 times 4 should get me my answer of 20. But I'm looking for a proportion. So this can be really helpful because by seeing that, you've already recognized that 5 and the height of my tree are corresponding sides. And that 8 and the shadow of my tree are also corresponding sides. We also know that I need my relationship to work in the same direction. So 5 times 4 is 20, 8 times 4 is 32. So I can actually build a proportion this way. Let's start with our 5 and our H. So 5 and H could make one proportion. And 8 and 32 could make another. So my 5 and 8 are going together because they're on one shape. Let's use circles to represent them. And my H and 32 are going together because they're in another shape. We'll use squares to recognize them. So my colors are together and my shapes are together. I want to make sure that they correspond so that I can actually solve my problem. So I could see 8 times 4 gives me 32. 5 times 4, times 4 gives me 20. Okay, so I'm looking for something similar to that. Okay, so let's see if we can do that with our others, like to see which ones are correct. So it's looking for one. It says, if the two triangles from the shadows is similar, which proportion could be used to solve for the height of the tree? Okay, so let's see. Well, let's see. 8 times 4. 5 times 4. Well, it looks like this one could be used. My 5 and 8 are together. My X and 32. So J. But also 8 times 4 and 5 times 4. Well, that one can also be used. So my 5 and my 8 are together. They're corresponding, or they're on the same shape. And my X and 32 are together. So that one works. And my 8 times 4 on F and my 5 times 4 would give me my 20 that I want. So F also works. But take a look at H. Well, notice that 5 times nothing gets me to 32. It's not getting me those same relationships. This doesn't work. I knew I needed to multiply by 4, but H doesn't. So H is the only one that doesn't actually work here. So this question really needs to be rephrased. If the two triangles formed by the shadows are similar, which proportion could be used to solve for the height? It really should say which proportion could not be used to solve for the height of the tree. So the proportion that cannot be used is H. Okay, continuing. Number 26. Which proportion could be used to find H, the height of the building in feet? Okay, so this one's a little bit harder to see our similar figures, but you can see that there are actually two triangles placed within each other. And you can see one triangle here with the height of the man, and then you can see the larger triangle, the height of the building. And what we should recognize is that my angles are matching up. So I have right angles, but then this angle in the corner here is also matching up, which tells me that I have similar figures because my angles are all congruent. So I'm going to redraw my smaller triangle on the outside and then my larger triangle as well, because that helps me. And I have 3 and 6, and I have 18, and I don't know this. So which proportion could be used? Well, I have 6 over 3. 6 would go with my h. So I know h has to go with that 6, and then 3 goes with 18. So I know 18 has to go here. So I'm looking for 6 and 3 and h and 18. Well, I have 6 and 3 and 18 and h, but I need h with the 6. We already said that. Those have to go together. So I'm not going to do D. I have 6 and 3 and h and 18. B.